We have crossed the bridge into a whole new era, an era of change. As we look around ourselves, we are faced today with lots of cyclones of opportunities, ideas, environments, communications, and messages in all aspects of our lives. I believe this gives us many new options moving forward. There is no more business as usual. Now, for some people, and I can tell a few faces in the audience, that could be kind of the beginning of the end of the world. Doomsday. For others, and I've seen a couple of nods, and I, as a Silicon Valley future-ready innovator, believe it's the coolest thing ever. Because we get new chances to redefine who and how we operate, how we work with the environment and the planet, and where we want to take our lives. Now, I do recognize, for all of us, including I, there are times that you just kind of want to hide away. But that, unfortunately, is not an option. The world is changing. My goal over the next 45 minutes or so is to help you see the positives of this. There is a North Star for all of us, the ultimate where we want to get to. And I hope you will walk away with 3 things. Firstly, the recognition that this is actually a good time to be alive and to be a leader and have an impact. Secondly, that AI, artificial intelligence, will empower us as people to succeed and achieve more. And finally, you will leave with a framework and a methodology to help you navigate through this era of change with peace, purpose, exploration, action, collaboration, and empowerment. Now, over my 30 years experience working with leaders from around the world, I've seen a lot of do's and don'ts. And the one thing that consistently leads to success is mindset. If you believe it's good, it'll be good. If you believe it's bad, it'll probably be bad. And you can shift industries, companies, and lives through your mindset. For example, one of my clients over the last 15 years is this gentleman, Shantanu, who was born in Hyderabad, India, and was always known as a young man who was curious about everything. What if we did this? Well, why not try that? He would ask questions. He had a vision to one day be a journalist, a photographer that could capture what's happening in society and make a difference. Well, his parents had a little bit different view and encouraged him to go to engineering school to get a job, make money, do what you need to do, which he did. He ultimately got a scholarship to go through computer science in the US. and then on to UC Berkeley in the San Francisco area, where he earned an MBA. And then took his first job at Apple Computer. Worked his way up through engineering, software development, innovation projects, and ultimately shifted over to Adobe because he loved the creativity. And again, worked his way gradually up the ladder, and finally was offered his dream job, CEO of Adobe, taking over from John and Chuck, the founders, who had built a very steadily predictable business over 20 years in software. Wall Street darlings. Great opportunity. Within a year, the world changed. That was in 2009, 2010. Financial crisis, shift from traditional premise-based software to everything in the cloud. The iPad comes out, the iPhone. People didn't want to buy new upgrades of software to put on their devices. Revenue plummeted. The stock went to an all-time low, less than $20 a share. The board, the Wall Street experts, everyone were adamant that Shantanu needed to do more of what had worked in the past. Discount, give rebates, fire the sales team, restructure, do something to get people to buy. But he didn't react. What Shantanu did was he took a step back and he reflected and literally took a long walk, thinking about the reality is the market has changed. People don't want to buy what we're selling. Competition is coming in. What do we really need to do to achieve our purpose? And he reflected back to his work with Chuck and John and thought about the vision, the mission, the purpose of Adobe. It's to enable creativity. That doesn't say sell software. That doesn't necessarily say convince people to do something they don't want to do. It's open creativity. And so we had an idea. Maybe we think differently. Maybe this gives us a chance to really leapfrog ahead, not just grow at a steady pace that we've done the last 20 years. And he went back into the office and he brought together his leadership team. And he said, I've seen the North Star. We are going to do things completely differently and change the industry. We're going to be a service business creating digital experiences that empower creativity for all. That's our purpose, that's our vision. In 5 years, we will no longer sell software. We'll provide services to do this. Now, as you may imagine, the 12 people sitting around the table looked at him and started asking questions. So we're set up to deliver software. How's this going to work as services? What does this mean for sales compensation? How are we going to get partners to believe this? What does this mean for our stock? Shantanu responded with, I have no clue of how we're going to do this. But what I know is I have 12 bright people around this table. And you all have people in your teams that are bright and creative and innovative. and we're going to go out and explore and work together to find the answers to how to do this. We'll set up meetings with customers, with partners, and we'll understand their perspective and ask, what would you pay money for? What are the most important 5 features in education? You'll pay $10 a month for these features for 5 students? Great. Let's do it. We'll learn by experience. And we'll collaborate. We'll have weekly powwows. If it worked, we'll do more of it. If it didn't work, we'll try something different. And over time, we'll expand on what works in order to change our offering and the industry one step at a time. Over the course of 4 to 5 years, they did exactly that, which led to Creative Cloud. No longer Creative Suites. That led to Experience Cloud. That led to a whole shift from software to SaaS or services. And it led to a very happy Wall Street and a very happy set of board members. Over 5,000% increase in stock price over a trajectory of 15 years. It pays off to take a step back, to think differently, to embrace that the world has changed, and ask those big questions. What might this allow us to do to achieve our real purpose, just in a different way? So we are in a stormy time, if you will, but good things do come. And if we reflect across all periods of challenge and change, from the early days of transition into the industrial age, to World War II end, to where we are today, the primary leading companies in all industries came out of the need to think differently. In Silicon Valley, we often say necessity breeds innovation. When everything is just going along as usual, every day is the same, we as humans tend to not jump out of the comfort zone. But when things become stormy, we think differently. Which is why I do fundamentally believe this is a great time for all of us. Especially today, since we are empowered by and have the ability to use AI. So now, when I say AI, I see a few reactions around the room. Some yes, some There are people who believe AI is this big bad wolf that is coming to overtake us. That is not a true statement. AI is simply technology. It's not human. It doesn't have the uniquenesses that we as humans have. It's a technology that is evolving and has been over 30 years with deep R&D going back to MIT, IBM. Today, it's growing at a very fast rate thanks to, firstly, the evolution of the technology itself. It's hit a tipping point from research. Number 2, the large language models, which have been created based upon the level and the speed of digitalization. AI as software, machine learning, can only do what it has to work with, which is data. And as we do more and more in a digital world, we provide richness in the data that allows brilliant data scientists to be able to structure language models like catalogs that AI as software can use in order to find information. That is powered even faster by GPUs, graphical processing units, fast, very specific, very technical semiconductors that are designed specifically to speed the way AI, machine learning, powered through large language models, conduct searches. It's why you can go into Gemini or ChatGPT and say, what were the last 5 big innovations that have happened after a trauma? And within seconds you have the answer. That's not magic. It's through machine learning, large language models, and fast processing. And as AI gets smarter and smarter, it becomes very capable of checking itself and finding any inconsistencies. It doesn't get bored and take its eye off the ball and miss things along the way. And it can perform tasks based upon what it's asked to do in a logical, structured manner. And it can do so very quickly. The other really cool thing is it learns by experience. It has a good memory. And it remembers what you asked it yesterday and can build on that. Which is the way it really empowers you more and more. The more you use it, the more advantages it can bring to you. This is a perfect time to start exploring, because it's going to only get faster and better. In Silicon Valley, for the last 15, 20 years, there's been work towards something called quantum computing. In short, quantum computing is a whole new era of technology platform. AI, all of our software as we use it today, is based on a very simple I's and O's, what goes in brings something out, semiconductor-based platform. In a way, some of the more advanced AI tools are like having a really, really big automobile, fast, greatest, latest, but running on a dirt track through the forest. It gets slowed down a lot. That's the reason it takes so much power and so many computer systems. Through quantum computing, which is a whole different era, there aren't any semiconductors and I's and O's. It's a physics-based computing platform that allows processing 100,000 times faster. That's where AI will really show its power and not take all of our energy and space for computing systems. This will start to roll out, I believe, in the next 5 to 10 years. Amazon AWS is already offering quantum as a service. It's utilized within Google. There are movements towards a commercial capability there. For those that are shaking their heads saying, oh my God, it's the end of us, do keep in mind, AI, even running on a quantum platform, is a tool. It's still software. It's still a tool. A tool that can be used for good or bad, depending upon your mindset and intent. I like to equate it to a kitchen knife. Good quality kitchen knives are great for chopping vegetables, preparing meals. A chef wouldn't live without one. That same kitchen knife, though, can be used to stab somebody, kill somebody. So the same tool used by one to create can be used negatively. Personally, I believe it is our responsibility as people with good intent to leverage AI today. Just remember, it learns by experience. Let's teach it the positives to overcome those that may see it as a way of being utilized negatively. We also have a responsibility as leaders to think about where and how we use AI or technology in general vis-a-vis people. Technology, whether it's AI or robotics, etc., is good at certain things in general. It's good at linear, technical, analytical, repetitive tasks that we as people often are not so good at because we get distracted. We need to get up and go to the bathroom, so we missed what was going on. Use the technology for these kinds of tasks. Leveraging the people to do what people do best. Think big, collaborate, provide service, demonstrate empathy. The two working together are a real win-win. One of our clients is a insurance claims processing company here in Europe. And they had a very difficult time coming out of COVID, keeping their customer service center staffed. They actually had 100 people in the Netherlands that did nothing for 8 hours but look at a screen, get phone calls, read emails of people submitting claims for insurance. Took them 30 minutes per claim sometimes to read it, understand it, check the policy, check the payment, send out a payment. Their COO eventually said, there's got to be a better way. And he found a tool that would process a claim in 3 seconds. 30 minutes, 3 seconds. Woo! That was good news. Now they only needed 10 people to oversee, guide, and train the AI. The 90 people that were not needed to do this spoke with their management team one-to-one about their own purpose in life and what they wanted to do. And they were given training, support, in order to move into new roles based upon their goals and desires and skills. That included true customer service, going out and meeting with customers, sales, financial market analysis, things that people do best. The end, happier employees. Turnover went from about 70% within a year to 15%. Happier customers who are getting customer service, real service, faster processing, and better revenues. A real win-win. So use the technology for what it does well, using people for what we do well. Overall, if we look at the impact of AI on jobs, as expected from the experts this year, about 25% of jobs will be in some way, shape, or form directly impacted, reduced, shifted, changed, fundamentally. That will lead to some, like customer service at Vanamitis, some jobs will be eliminated. But the other side of that is many more jobs will be created by AI. That's the opportunity. And I would suggest for most people, the new roles will be more interesting, more engaging, more fun than the old roles that an AI could do probably better than a person. The kinds of skills behind those new jobs certainly include technology skills, but that's only about 25% of the new jobs are for people in IT kinds of roles. The other 75% start with more human experience. As people, the more we use technology, the more we appreciate that human touch, that voice, that support, that empathy that people can provide, as well as leadership skills. People willing to jump out of the routine and think differently like Shantanu did. Ask big questions, encourage creativity, redesign what work means. Those people are desperately needed. And across all functions, people that express curiosity. What might this allow for us? People that think differently and can learn how to use the technology effectively. And that's both in what you prompt, i.e. what you ask for, very important when using a technology tool, but the critical thinking. Let's face it, AI does make mistakes, the hallucinations, probably at a lesser rate than humans make, but it doesn't mean you just turn on the AI and go off to the beach for the rest of the day. It gives you as an opportunity as a person to think critically about what it's coming up with and how that helps you achieve your purpose. There is a role for both. People empowered by AI can create this new future and achieve the North Star. And I would suggest that the methodology that goes back to what Shantanu used, purpose, exploration, action, collaboration, and empowerment, is a framework you can take forward. Let's walk through that. It starts with shifting your mindset. When things happen, it's not a crisis, it's not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to learn, look at things differently, shift from business as usual to greater achievement of what you're trying to achieve. It is a new day. We're in a new era. And that new era will lead to good. when you leave the expectations, the plans, the structures behind, good things happen. I personally know that from my own experience, which coincidentally, in many ways, has led me to being here with you in Lillestrom and living here compared to where I was previously in Silicon Valley. I mean, my background is primarily that I started in technology sales, came to Europe with a technology company, ended up working for Thunberg, building their international business, went back to Silicon Valley. We sold to Cisco. I launched consulting firm, Next Step, using all of the knowledge that I had built over that 10-year period. And to the positive, we've been quite successful. My vision was to have an impact on people and help people to achieve better results based on my and my team's experience. And somewhere about 2012, 2013, coincidentally about the time we were doing that transition for Adobe, we had an office, had actually the top floor of the most prestigious building then in Redwood City. I had the corner office, important place of status. And I look back and I remember friends and associates would come to the office for lunch or whatever. It's like, oh my God, you've achieved it. You are the queen. You know, it's going to continue to grow. You'll have the 5th floor next. You'll be growing and be the queen of the hill. And if I'm honest, when I look back, I remember many nights, because as the CEO, I could never leave until after everyone else had left. So many nights, 7, 8 o'clock at night, I would wander around that office thinking, oh my God, I am as miserable as I've ever been in my life. I feel like a caged tiger in here. I hate this. There's got to be something else more than this. I can't cope with this another 10, 15, 20 years. And interestingly, coincidentally or not, a few things all happened. This was in April, like 2015, 2016. A few things all happened at the same time. The district was growing, so rent went up like 3 times. We had a client issue, we had an employee issue that was going to sue us, we had something else changed. And I still remember one night I just simply said, okay, I've had enough. I've done all the right things. I'm done. The next day I canceled the lease on the office building, told everybody we are getting out of here. We're going back to people working from home. Wherever the hell you want to work, I don't care. You know what you're trying to achieve. We'll make this work. No one really complained. Within a year, we're all happy. We're working from home. We're doing what we believe in. That's what ultimately freed me to be able to explore working with more Norwegian, European companies. And today I have what I feel on my terms, the perfect lifestyle. I can impact people around the world. It's not about the status and the expectations. So when things happen, like our rent going up and the lawsuit, etc., take that step back. Think about, what am I really trying to achieve? Just like Shantanu did, just like I did. What's really important here? Is it the expectations? Or is it my objectives and my goals? Ask, what would happen if I did something different? Try something. I encourage you as you leave today to think about 1 or 2 things you could simply do differently. And try it. And collaborate. No one person has all of the answers of the steps to follow in 2025. We need to each explore try, and then come together and share. And empower others in your organization to go through their own process. Set the North Star, the objective, so they know the ultimate goal, but allow them the flexibility to be creative on how to get there. So as you leave, embrace that we are in a new era of change with many opportunities. Explore. AI, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking. And take with you the concept of peace. Your purpose, exploration, action, collaboration, and empowerment, which works across all areas. So with that, I do appreciate the opportunity to share perspectives with you and look forward to collaborating with you. I mean in all sincerity, please reach out. I would love to hear your challenges, hear your concerns, and support wherever possible, because we are in this together. So thank you.